Hey y'all, welcome to episode 43 of the Grateful Yardy podcast. It's me, Drew, here talking to things and pun the ends. As usual, you can always hit me up, facebook.com/Grateful Yardy podcast. You can hit me up on Instagram, that is Mr._special. On Twitter, that is twitter.com/@MrSpecial. And thank you for tuning into our YouTube channel, which is the Grateful Yardy podcast. Also, if you want to go back and hear some past episodes I did on an app called Opinion, that would be the-grateful-yardy.maywithopinion.com. I'll say it again. That is the-grateful-yardy.maywithopinion.com. And it has all the first episodes I did on that URL. You can download them and listen to them, etc., etc. All right. Just for your information, this week's episode is being taped as I am driving. I am doing it hands-free, so you're going to hear a lot of click, click, click as I indicate and accelerations and stuff like that, okay? So just bear with me. Thanks for tuning in as always. So, last night we saw an end of what we could call the greatest career in the history of sprinting. We saw Usain Bolt pull up at the final leg in his final race at the World Championship, and he went down, it looks like, an hamstring injury. People are saying this and his finish in the finals of the 100-meter dash last weekend tarnishes his legacy. And I'm here to dispute that and say it doesn't. It doesn't tarnish his legacy one iota, one inkling. Because you cannot do what he's done consistently for the last decade in track and field, in a very high-demanding, high-speed sport, as track, running the glamour races, i.e. the 100-meter and the 200-meter, which are the glamour, and the relay are glamour Olympic sports. People tune in to watch these sports to see who is the fastest man on the planet. It's just, again, sometimes Father Time catches up with us a lot quicker than your body. Father Time is pretty much your body telling you can't do it anymore. Your mind mentally might be thinking you can still run at a high level, but we saw his times diminish this season. He ended the race last weekend with 9:9.95. I'm saying this. I'm not a sprinter. I can run far, but I know I'm not going to catch Usain Bolt's world record or anything like that. And I just like the fact that now the page has turned. We're going into a new era of sprinting. You have Andre DeGrasse in Canada. I think his name is Coleman out of USA. The young guy out of Jamaica. You got some young girls doing their thing. So track and field, it's not like it got left in a bad place with Usain Bolt leaving. Yes, he is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time to ever do sprinting. But this, how his career ending, it's tragic, it's sad, it's heartbreaking as a fan of track and field. But do I think it's the end all and be all? No. He's only 30. So if he wanted to take a year off and come back and rehab and try, he could. But I think he's done everything and anything you can in the world of track and field. And his legacy is already stamped with all the gold medals and all the 100-meter world championships. This is his first injury in a major competition, which is his last. All those things just showing you that Father Time caught up with him a lot. Where we say in sports that 30 and those ages are your prime, his prime caught up to him very quickly, and he knew it was the right time to bow out. He didn't make ego and pride get to him. He's bowing out at the best known time. He's done everything he can in the sport. He's excelled the sport to levels unimaginable. And now it's time to ride off into the sunset, no pun intended. Also, this week we saw on Xbox One, PS4, EA Sports dropped their new NBA Live 18 demo. It looks like the game's coming out sometime in September. I want to say either September 9th or 11th. It should be dropping. One of those 2 days. I did play the demo. I played the demo through. I played their pretty much be a pro or be a player or whatever you want to call it. The one is being called And I went through it, I finished it off, and I got to the part where it's like, oh, if you want to continue, you can pre-order the game. I already have EA access, so I'm glad I spend my $30 a month. And now when this game comes out, I'm not spending $70 a month. And if I don't resubscribe to it, it's okay. But I'm saying this. I played NBA 16, and I enjoyed NBA 16 because it was the fun element of playing video games is for fun. When I play 2K, I don't want to pick up a game where I feel like I can't move, or I feel like I can't be on the same level as LeBron James or Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry. I want to be able to pick up a game and play when I go to my player. Yeah, I know I'm not going to be the best player. I know I'm not going to be up in that echelon, but it's something where I know I can compete with the CPU. And I think NBA Live has done so. Yeah, there's always glitches, and yeah, there's always hiccups in games. It's not going to get perfect science with physics. It's not going to happen. And I go online and I see these reviews and stuff that people love to bash NBA Live and bash that it's a horrible game and that 2K is the king. And we all know 2K has outsold everything. But I always feel like this. Just because a game or a music or anything like that has outsold anything doesn't mean that it's great. It just means that more people bought the units. I feel like I like NBA Live 18, the demo. Will I pick up NBA Live the full game? Yes, I will, and I will continue to play the one. And hopefully, it's not just one season. Hopefully, you're a young player. You got drafted. You can try to win a championship or win the MVP or win the Rookie of the Year, and then you can go and play summer leagues. You can go play in the Drew leagues and all that stuff like you did in the first go around in the demo. I hope the game has longevity. So if NBA Live decides we're not putting out a game for 2 years, this is a game we're presenting. We like what we're going to present. It does what it's supposed to do. It's one of the best things that we put out there. We're proud of it. It might sell a bunch of units. It might not. But then we can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, we're not going to put out a game in 2019, and we're not going to put out a game in 2020. We might put out a game in 2021. And maybe that will be the best basketball simulation game ever. We don't know. But for people to go online and bash the game is kind of stupid. I enjoyed it. It was a fun game to play. And I'm going to pick up the full version when it comes out. Also, I want to talk about this thing, which is very, very close to my heart. And I always say this because I'm going to speak about wrestling. And we got SummerSlam coming up in a week's time, because I'm taping this on the 13th of August. So SummerSlam will be the following weekend. And we heard the stipulation, Brock saying, if I don't win the belt, I'm going to leave the WWE. Blah. Okay. Do I think Brock Lesnar is leaving the WWE? No, I don't. I think the WWE will allow him, because he has limited dates on his contract, and his contract is up in April. And if this supposed John Jones fight could be coming, we'd say earliest November, latest December, early January, and it could make WWE money, sure, they're going to do it. They did it last time, and they promoted him going to fight UFC 200, even though he got pinched with the drugs and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see John Jones and Brock Lesnar. I know the rest of the world does. I know that's going to happen. I know people want to see the top stars, and we know Brock is a top draw. No, I'm not trying to rhyme, but it's not a fight that I'm intrigued with. The same way I'm not intrigued with Bisbane and St. Pierre. I'm not intrigued by that fight. I'm more intrigued to see Tyron Woodley and GSP. I'm more intrigued to see that fight. But we all know UFC is struggling when it comes to developing stars. They don't really have many stars. They're always relying on John Jones. Conor McGregor is tied up. There's no UFC this month. He's tied up with what's his face? Oh God, I know it. Floyd Mayweather. Oh, and I'm a sports guy, and I didn't even remember Floyd Mayweather's name. So, will he come back after his boxing match with Floyd? Will will Floyd be joining him in the octagon if he loses that fight? We don't know. There's a bunch of mixed bags of stuff that's happening in combat sports, which I look at it as the world of combat sports where it was when UFC was on Spike and it bloomed and everybody was watching it and going to the bars. And I think that those days of the UFC are done. And I think what has to happen, the UFC is realizing that they are name driven. They're not brand driven. Like, for instance, the WWE says WrestleMania. The card of WrestleMania could be the crappiest card in the history of mankind, but 70 to 80 to 100,000 people will go to watch WrestleMania because of the name. The WWE, it's the brand. In the UFC, they haven't developed the brand strong enough, because we all know NFL is a brand. When you don't go watch, you might have a local team if you live in an NFL city that you cheer for and root for. Like, I live in Toronto, so I don't really have an NFL team to root for. I could either go to the South or go more West Ontario and root for the Lions. And I could go more towards Buffalo and South and root for the Bills. I could root for Chicago because that's not far. Indianapolis is not far. Cleveland Browns. You can root for everyone too, because nowadays the internet brings us together so we can watch our teams together. But back to what I'm saying, the UFC is not a brand-driven organization. You can't put UFC whatever number and people are gonna come. They don't care who's the main event, who's the first card, who's in the middle. With the WWE, or the NFL or etc., they've made their brand global. So everybody knows who is. When you say wrestling, they say, oh, the WWE. Or even if they say WWF, we know what they're talking about. Where the UFC, yeah, it's the largest mixed martial arts organization on the planet. However, they're not breathing themselves as the top organization. That's why places like Bellator can come in and sign guys and all that kind of stuff. That's why there's always different fight leagues. We all know, like in wrestling, in professional wrestling, you have the WWE is the end all and be all. Then you have Ring of Honor, TNA, or Global Force Wrestling, whatever their name is this week. They changed their name like we change our socks. You have other indie promotions. You have the NWA from back in the day. All that stuff, not the rap group, but the National Wrestling Alliance. You have all these things that are there that are predicated upon these things to make their brand. We know that the WWE is the top in wrestling. We know the best football players play in the National Football League. We know the best basketball players play in the National Basketball Association. We know the best hockey players play in the NHL. We know the best Major League Baseball players play in Major League Baseball. We know these things. The UFC hasn't done a great job at making themselves brand first, where UFC is coming to your city, it's going to sell out. It doesn't matter who's on the card. It doesn't matter if it's John Jones. It doesn't matter if it's Demetrius Johnson. It doesn't matter if it's Conor McGregor. It doesn't matter. Look at the Conor McGregor press conference that came to Toronto. That thing was full with people. Why? Because it wasn't because UFC light heavyweight champion was coming. It was because of Conor McGregor. We all know the fight game has always been like that. It's always about the fighters. We know Ali did a great job at it. Mike Tyson, even Don King was an anomaly unto himself when he was doing the fight thing promotion. But the UFC, Dana White has done them a disservice. They should be known as the global leader in mixed martial arts. That's what they should be known for, I'm going to say it again, as the global leader in mixed martial arts. When you say mixed martial arts out of your mouth, oh, that's the UFC, isn't it? That's what should be coming out of people's mouth. And they have done in the last how many years? They had a good run, I'd say 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. They had a great run. They were building up stars. They had a young John Jones. They had the last star they built. And Ronda Rousey people think she was built in the UFC. No. Ronda Rousey was found by Scott Coker in Strikeforce. Okay? The last star that the UFC has built, and I don't even believe that the UFC built this guy, is Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor knows how to sell you on a fight. Why? Because he is using the element that professional wrestling does not use. And that is the art of selling me to come to the arena to watch this guy get his ass whooped. It's the same way how Floyd Money Mayweather did in boxing. We all put down our $80, $90, $100 on a pay-per-view and we watched intently to see if Floyd would get knocked out, because that's the art of getting people into the arena, especially in sports. Why do you think some people love the Yankees or love the Yankees and hate the Yankees? Why was everybody calling the Cubs before they won the World Series last year for all these years the lovable losers? Why? Because no matter where you lived in the world, you probably, and watch baseball, you probably wanted the Cubs to win a World Series. And last year when they finally did it, you were like, oh my God. And that's how I feel. The UFC does not build stars. Scott Coker and Born Remney, or whatever his name is, that used to run Bellator before Scott Coker got the job over there. They are knowing how to build stars. Yeah, let's put the freak shows on top, but our undercard has some up-and-coming guys that are young, hungry in the sport. And that's the problem. That's what the UFC is not doing. Okay? Thanks for tuning in this week, folks. As usual, you all know where to hit me up. That is facebook.com/The Grateful Yardy Podcast. On Instagram, that is Mr. Special with a Y. On Twitter, on Instagram, it's Mr._special. On Twitter, it's Mr. Special. You can always go old school and email me, gratefulYardyPodcast@gmail.com. God bless. God bless. And stay grateful. Peace.